Hello, today I made carrot and ginger soup. It's a delicious, quick and nutritious soup. Obviously we used carrot and ginger. I started with one medium-sized onion, peeled it, cut it in half, and I cut it thinly sliced. I don't really care how big the slices are as long as they're the same size so they take the same time cooking. This soup idea, I took it from on board aircraft. For people who don't know, I work as a flight attendant or a cabin crew, and in business and first class, we always offer two kinds of soup depending on a destination, and they usually vary from every flight. So every flight we have different kind of soups. I always try the soups on board and I go home, I cook them and they turn out great except for one recipe which I actually used the wrong ingredient. So for this recipe, I used two medium sized carrots. I cut them, as you can see, fairly big slices. It doesn't really matter. You can make them small as long as they're the same size, so they can take the same time cooking. And these two carrots made me four medium-sized bowls of soup. Moving on to the ginger. Try to use fresh ginger as it's healthier than the powdered one, and also try to get as much straight shape as you can so it's easier to peel. This peeling technique I learned from Chef Jamie Oliver. There are actually so many gadgets to peel ginger, or at least one that I know. However, the easiest of them is just to use a spoon. First of all, it doesn't peel much of a skin. And more importantly, it is safer than just using a knife or a peeler. The amount of ginger used in this recipe really depends on the taste, on how much heat you can handle, as ginger can be a little bit of a, no, I would not say spicy, but it has heat. So that was how much ginger I used to make the 4-portion bowls of soup. And it wasn't that spicy, and it was just enough to get the taste of the ginger, so it was just right. Next step will be the celery. I personally like adding celery to every soup I make. In Egypt, we always add celery in vegetable soups, so I added celery. I used 2 sticks of celery, cut them, of course, the same size so they will take the same time cooking. And I only cut the stalks and I left the leaves, not to be in the soup. I will just garnish the soup with at the end. On a medium heat, I placed a cast iron pot and I used extra virgin olive oil, maybe a big 2 tablespoon of olive oil, and I don't really need much heat at that point. And then I added all my ingredients. I started with the onion, but then the rest doesn't really matter with the order. Whatever you have, just put it in. And I'm not looking forward to change the color or to brown it or to fry the vegetables. I'm looking forward to incorporate it together, to be able to smell the vegetables, to infuse the taste. And as soon as the color gets translucent, I will start by adding water. But of course, I will season it first by using freshly ground black pepper. And I'm not going to use salt at that point because I will add a vegetable or a chicken stock, and I will talk about that later. And as soon as the color got translucent, I added the water. Don't add much water at the beginning, so you can adjust the texture later. And then I added the chicken stock cube. Normally, I would do my own. I always have them in the freezer. I do my own vegetable or chicken stock. I didn't have it at that point, so I used the supermarket regular ones. I would not recommend you using them because they have MSG, or use them as few times as possible, or don't just use them at all. And when the texture got really soft, I blended the soup. You can use a regular blender or a mixer, but then you have to wait for the soup to get a little bit colder. So I used a hand blender, and I blend it all together, and then you can adjust the texture later. Later I realized that it got really thick, so I added more water. And this is what I mean by don't add water at the beginning, so you can add it later on at later stage.
حاضر ثواني بكب بس الكريمة.
بصي في الأرض ممكن تقيلي.
حاضر استني ما اخلص.
نعم. لا دوقيك من العلبة بتاعك. لا ده تليفونك مين؟
بتاعي.
طيب هو ليه مفتوح يا ندى؟
And that was my daughter Camille asking me whose phone is this and asking me to try the soup. So I plated medium-sized bowl, garnished it with the celery leaves, and of course I put more cream. And again, I can't tell you, it was very delicious and heartwarming. You can have it on its own as a main dish by adding more maybe croutons or a baguette or fried bread as we do in the Middle East, or just have it as it is. It's really, really nice. I hope you give it a try and you like it. And let me know if you tried it and you liked it. Just write in the comments. Bon appétit!